Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia. I am the owner and maker of It's a Crafting. And so in this video, I am combining a resin tumbler with a 3D printed goblet. So I've been doing a lot of 3D printing lately. It's super fun. We have a Bamboo Lab printer that we purchased a few months ago. We already had one called a Lavist, which is something that was really inexpensive to just kind of learn on, and we've had that for a couple of years, and we took a break and weren't really doing anything, and then started back up a few months ago. And so we got really into it, me and my husband, and so I got into starting to design some stuff, which I haven't been real confident with, and I've had some success and a lot of failures. There's a whole lot of trial and error with 3D printing. But in this video, I printed a goblet that was already, I downloaded it off of, I think it was Bamboo Labs, I'm not sure, but I will link the creator down below. If you like this goblet and you do 3D prints, you can certainly check out his and download his STL file. I do not take any credit for this goblet. It is all this person, 100%. This is not, I'm not selling this. This is something that I made for me because it's for personal use only. But I do plan on making my own, like designing my own goblets in the future. But for now, I just wanted to kind of do this and show you guys that you can create a tumbler and incorporate 3D printing. It's fun, it's easy, and it just changes things a little bit. So, you know, I did a video on that I really wasn't making tumblers anymore. The market's saturated. So I'm trying to come up with something different. Guys, in this video, I'm going to show you everything that I do except for the downloading and the 3D printing process itself, because I'm not proficient in that. So I don't think that I'd be in a position to show you or teach you about any of that stuff. So I'm just going to print it and then I'm going to show you what I do with it afterwards. So at the end of this video, let me know in the comments below what you think of me putting these designs together. Let me know if you have any ideas. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel. And all right, that's enough from me. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm going to start by prepping my tumblers as I always do. I'm going to sand it down, wipe it down with 91% alcohol, and then base spray paint it. So this isn't the actual tumbler I'm using, but I kind of use this video over and over again so I don't have to keep doing the same, recording the same stuff. Recording is really a pain in the butt. Anyway, I spray painted this stemless wine glass tumbler, and I hate saying wine glass because it's not a glass, it's a stainless steel tumbler. So I spray painted it gold, and that is by Rustoleum, and now I am applying Aleen's Tack-It-Over and Over. I've used this in a lot of my other videos, so it's not something new. And if you're not familiar with Aleen's Tack-It-Over and Over, it is a glue that goes on wet and dries sticky. And so I'm using this because I'm taking this gold glitter by Glitter Makes It, and I'm going to burnish it down, which basically means that I'm going to press the glitter down and lay it flat. And this is not a holographic glitter, but I wanted to do it with this gold anyway because this gives like a metallic look rather than a holographic. I didn't want a rainbow underneath what I'm going to do with this tumbler afterwards. I just wanted some shimmer through the next process, which I'm going to do a swirl effect on this using alcohol inks and resin. And so all this is so easy. All you do is just really press it down. You can reuse that glitter too. I say it's okay. Some people say it's contaminated. Look at that shimmer. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. But I reuse it and I've never had any problems. So I don't have a lime green alcohol ink, so I'm basically making one. And so I did this video too as kind of like a little short showing you that I put in a half tablespoon of 91% alcohol, and I have like this lime green, it is resin colorant, and I don't really remember what the brand is. It came with a resin kit, and so there's lots of resin colorants on Amazon and other, you know, other places that sell resin products and things like that. So I'm showing you here like how many drops, like what it looks like after how many drops. So I do it after one drop. I'm mixing really well in between all of my drops too. So you can just see the color combination or the color saturation here with how many drops I used. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply about 15 mLs of epoxy. And so you don't want your coats to be too thin on this because you do want them to flow and swirl when you put a heat gun on it. And that's what I'm going to do later on. So here I am and I'm using a regular set epoxy. So this is an epoxy that'll be cured to the touch in about 8 to 12 hours. I wouldn't recommend using a fast set epoxy because you want to get kind of a maximum swirl effect on it. So it's better to use a longer setting epoxy. Now I have 10 mLs of epoxy and I'm putting in a white pigment paste by Resin Rockers, I think it is. I don't know. I'll link it down below. And I'm using the pigment paste, the white pigment paste, because it really has a really like super whitening on there as opposed to white alcohol ink. So it's thicker and it's not as see-through. So now what I'm doing is I'm using that alcohol ink that I made and I'm just using my popsicle stick and putting it all over the tumbler. And as you can see, it's got this like lime green, but you can't really see, it's not super bright. But what's going to happen later on is when I add that white pigment paste epoxy to this, it's going to pull that green out. Just got to trust the process. All right, so now here is another like dark green, dark like hunter green that I'm putting on there. And I'm showing you before I do all these drops. And now I have like this grass green that I am putting on here. And I'm basically going to cover the whole tumbler. And in retrospect, I think if I were to do this again, I wouldn't put as much alcohol ink because I think that now looking at it, I mean, I love the way it turned out, but I think I would have wanted more of that gold to come through. And so you can see it up close, but you may not be able to see it in the video. It does shimmer, but again, I think I wanted more of that gold. So, but it all worked out, so I'm not unhappy with it. So I'm taking my white resin now and I am just drizzling it on this tumbler, just kind of diagonal. There's no rhyme or reason for it. And it's going to start mixing in with these alcohol inks and it's going to look so cool what it does. But it's up to you how many lines you want to put in or how much you want to put in. This is all, when we do these tumblers, it's all a matter of preference. So what I like, somebody else might not like, and what somebody else likes, I might not like. So it's a matter of personal preference. This is all just a guide to show you how things behave. And so I used, all this alcohol ink. I used 3 colors. I saturated the whole tumbler. It's over top of, a gold glitter. And I'm adding this white resin. And I'm heating up now to move it around. And so there's really not much more to narrate because this is a process that, again, is a matter of personal preference, how much you want it to swirl, how much white you want, how much gold you want to show through. And so, if you want to add more, or you can't take it away, but you can add it. I mean, you can take it away, but it kind of messes it up. So less is more when you're working and doing a swirl tumbler. So I'm just going to put on some filler music for you to watch the process, and then I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so at this point I decided I am happy with the way it looks and I'm just going to let it cure now, and it's going to be cured to the touch in 8 to 12 hours. I'm going to be back tomorrow. All right, so while this is curing, this is my 3D printed goblet, and I printed it with black PLA, and now I am taking this gold paint and I'm using this like fan brush, and I'm basically gonna lightly, not completely dry brush, but like I put some on and it was a little bit too much, so I take this paper towel and I keep it handy to wipe off any heavy excess. I want like this gold over top, but I want the black to show through the bottom, if that makes any sense. So I don't want to completely cover it. If I wanted to completely cover it, I would have spray painted it. But here I'm just dabbing it in and going around, and I'm going to do the entire cup with this. So there's really nothing more to say about that. If you put too much on, you can spray a napkin with 91% alcohol and just kind of wipe it off. I wouldn't use acetone. That's the word I was looking for. I wouldn't use acetone because that's really going to take it off. I want to take it off like very thin layers at a time, and the acetone will really remove it heavily. And if you want to heavily remove it, then go ahead and use acetone, but be very ginger with it because this is PLA and it could break down. I don't know how it reacts to it, so I think you're safer with the 91% alcohol. Just make sure it's not completely dry. But doing this and only using a very little bit, the paint does dry very, very quickly. And so just be aware of that. So again, I'm just tinkering around with this until it looks the way I want it to look. You do you. You do as much or as little as you want. You can use other colors. You can bring more black back in. You can add some copper. How about some bronze? Like whatever. Again, this is just, showing you what you can do. And so now after this dries, I give it about an hour to dry because it dried, like I said, super quick. I am going to give this 3 coats of polyacrylic. I am going to let each coat dry a half an hour before I do my final coat. And so this shines it up, it seals, and it protects it because this is something that you're going to be drinking out of, not this. So you can't drink out of PLA because it's not food grade safe, and that's why I'm doing this the way I'm doing it. And so these are little gems that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and you can see that strip, that's what they're on. I was taking them off of that strip because that sticky stuff eventually, breaks down and doesn't stick anymore. So I'm going to use E7000, which I hate this stuff because it smells and it's so hard to get out of the tube, but it gets a better adhesion. And I'm going to use my gem picker, and I'm just going to put them inside of all these holes in the top of this goblet. So I really liked that this goblet had this holes because this was like perfect to put gems in, and I decided to go with the green gems. And again, you do you could do gold gems, you could do something else, but see that and they fit in there perfect. It looks really, really nice. And it's so much fun to decorate this 3D printed goblet. Now, like I said, it's not food grade safe, so you can't drink or eat out of it, but that's why I did the tumbler, and I'm going to glue that in here. So that is my idea with combining resin tumblers with 3D printed whatever, and in this case, it's a goblet. So I'm so happy with this. So now I'm going to just clean. This is done curing. It's the next day, and to you it was like 30 seconds ago. Cleaning out any excess alcohol ink on the inside of the rim. When you do this kind of tumbler, once it's cured, it's done. And unless you want to add decals to it, it's done. You don't need to do anything else to it. I'm just getting any excess epoxy off the top, and I am just making sure it's nice and smooth because somebody might put their lips to this or will put their lips to this, which I use food grade safe epoxy, and once it's completely cured, it's safe to drink out of and put your lips on. I wouldn't eat it, but you can drink out of it and it's totally fine. So now what I'm going to do is take E6000 and I'm going to put it on the inside rim of this goblet, and this is going to be the glue that I use to adhere the tumbler to this 3D printed goblet. Make sure you get it close to the top because you want to make sure that it's in there. You don't want it falling out while you're trying to drink out of it. That would really suck because the liquid would just dump all over your lap. So yeah, make sure you do that, and you've got a couple of minutes with this glue to position it and make sure that it's right. In retrospect, I probably should have put a level on top of it, but I didn't. All right, so now once that glue is dry, it's been drying a couple of hours, I took UV resin and put it in this little bottle. And the reason why I put it in this bottle is because it has a skinnier neck for which to come out. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to seal the goblet to the tumbler so that no water can leak down and get underneath and then create a mold situation. So I do it around the entire rim and basically seal that up, and then it's done, completely done. So check this out, guys. Tell me what you think. I absolutely love this. This is like one of my new favorites. Make sure you like and subscribe, share and comment. I love to hear your feedback. All those things help my channel to grow. I appreciate you watching. See you next time. Bye.